Hey everyone, thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to do a video on what I consider to be the top 3 proven producers for the cold water period, or fishing during the winter. Basically December, January, February. Across the country, those are the coldest periods of the year. Some places like up north have hard water, you have frozen conditions, and then even if you're down as far as Florida, these are going to be the coldest water temperatures that you're going to see throughout the year. You want to be able to be productive when you head to the lake, and this is going to be 3 of the high percentage baits that I think you ought to have tied on when you head to the water during the wintertime. Number 1, and starting from the surface of the water, moving down in the water column from top to bottom, I would say you've got to have a jerkbait. A jerkbait is just a phenomenal producer when the fish are either suspended or higher in the water column. It's got the little shallow bill like this one here. It's a suspender, so when I jerk and pause, it just hovers there in the water column around where the fish may be, where the fish are relating, whether it's around bait. Usually makes the jerkbait shine. So if you have the presence of bait, if you see them on your electronics, or you just know an area's got a lot of bait fish, a jerkbait's just a phenomenal fish catcher, mainly because you can get it to slow down and hang out around the fish without having it move too far horizontally in the water column. If you can get something to kind of sit there and tantalize them, give them a second to move and react to it, you're going to get more bites. Other than the fact that you can catch fish during the coldest period with reaction type baits, the jerkbait's just a phenomenal one because it is a reaction bait, but it slows down and hangs out around the fish, and it imitates bait fish. They're during the colder periods of the year. The bait fish are going to be sluggish. They're not going to move as fast. They're going to have a harder time. And if you twitch it and pause it and give it an erratic action, the jerkbait's just going to be a phenomenal one to catch fish with. And one of the other things about it is, again, you can fish it up high in the water column by twitching with your rod tip up, and you can get it to go down lower and fish it deeper in the water column by lowering your rod tip and also making longer casts, as well as using a lighter pound test. Like if you go from 12 to 8, you're going to be able to get that bait to go down deeper in the water column. So keep those things in mind. The jerkbait's just a phenomenal producer for catching fish in the cold water period. Number 2, it's going to be super hard to beat a lipless crankbait. It's probably my favorite for the wintertime or cold water period. I love the fact that I can cover a lot of water with it, eliminate a lot of areas where there aren't any fish. Every now and again, you're going to pick off a fish, and then you'll go find some areas as well where they're grouped up, the flat sides, and the fact that it's got a tight vibration, which in the cold water period seems to be exceptional. The lipless crankbait works year round, but it really shines in the cold water period. Those flat sides, tight vibration, definitely gets fish to bite. A couple things to take into consideration. Sometimes they want a really aggressive rattle and vibration, and sometimes they want something that's more subtle. If the fish are wanting something aggressive, then I definitely go with the hammer trap. If they want something a little more subtle, and that typically is when the water's at its coldest, that Bill Lewis rattle trap, the traditional original one, is hard to beat. Crawfish is great, chromes are great, and one of my favorites, a gold blackback. And finally, I don't know how you could talk about wintertime fishing without a jig. I think of jig as the best thing for when those fish just are not either up higher in the water column, or they're not reacting to faster moving baits, and it's harder to get them to trigger. On a post frontal, cold front, bluebird skies, fish get tighter to the bottom. It's just a tremendous fish producer when you're during the coldest periods of the year. Of course, a jig is a 12 months of the year bait, but if you can slow down, fish it along the bottom, and get something that doesn't have a very aggressive thump, a type of trailer that's just kind of slow moving. It looks like it kind of imitates something that's in the cold water period, in that environment where nothing's really moving fast and nothing's really moving massively aggressive. I tend to like a Yamamoto flapping hog, or just your traditional chunk style trailer, as opposed to something that's got a lot of moving action or hard thumping type plastic trailer on the back of it. A jig fished low and slow on the bottom or in and around cover, and typically hard cover, whether it's rocks or wood, the jig's going to shine. Those are going to be 3 baits that you got to have tied up in the wintertime, in my opinion. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you got something out of it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. I also have merchandise. Make sure you go over there and check that out. I'll put the link to that in the description below. I've got hoodies, hats, shirts, and decals. Hope you find something you like. Until next time, thanks for watching and good fishing.